Welcome to the Cinebuds podcast. In this episode, we discuss the latest crop of lackluster summer blockbusters, compare and contrast the best and worst trailers from Comic-Con, and take a deep dive into Suicide Squad and its version of the Joker. The Cinebuds podcast starts right now. Welcome to the Cinebuds podcast, where we talk about all things fantastic in the world of movies. I'm Matt Cook, and with me always is Garrett Dennert.
Hey, Matt.
Also with us today is our very special guest, Adam Cook.
Yes.
How you doing, Adam?
I'm doing great. Doing great. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, so guys, what have you been watching recently? I just finished Stranger Things on Netflix.
You finished it?
Yeah, I kind of took my time more so than usual. I think it took me about a week or so to finish it.
Man, I haven't even gotten started, honestly.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. That's what I keep hearing, like just internet waves, I guess, is this positive stuff that I refuse to look at.
Yeah. It takes place, I think it's 1986 in Hawkins, Indiana. And like the way it was shot, it totally felt like something that came out of the 80s. It has a great I wouldn't necessarily call it a soundtrack, but like the score for the movie really gave it that 80s like sci-fi flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
seems to be a popular theme in a lot of shows and movies, that are kind of coming back a little bit, that retro feel.
For sure. And like the way it was shot very cinematic. It didn't necessarily feel like a TV show. It almost felt more so just like a movie.
Like a long movie.
Yeah, like an 8-episode movie.
That's cool. That's great to hear that they were able to like pull that off.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I mean, I kind of had higher hopes than what it reached, but I still really enjoyed the series.
Nice.
I was kind of surprised. I had to not just do like a double take, but I think it was even a triple take to recognize Winona Ryder. Hadn't seen Winona Ryder in anything in a long time. Probably maybe since Mr. Deeds.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, from the trailer, I knew she was in it, but it was kind of weird to me, just like watching something with her in it again, especially like original series on Netflix.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But I think that provides some authenticity, though. I think it's good not to have just like this series that needs to be carried by some big name. Like it's kind of like a Super 8 type of show. It's kind of supposed to be that like old school E.T. The group of young kids. They each have kind of their own character, but then you throw in the sci-fi element.
For sure.
So
yeah. So Garrett, are you looking forward to starting that series?
Yeah, I really am. Like my girlfriend and I have talked about it a few different times and like end up going back to like just stuff to watch while we're eating or whatever. So like we've been watching Bob's Burgers a lot.
Okay, yeah, I've heard that's good. I just never really checked it out.
Yeah, she kind of like pushed me pretty hard into it because I was resistant. Like I'm not that big into animated shows.
Right.
And it took me probably a season and a half to like really love the characters, but I got there and really enjoying it. Like we're season 5 now.
Nice.
So almost caught up. And she's also pushing for us to watch Alias. So it's interesting that like we're talking like
Alias.
yeah. Like it's so interesting watching like old JJ like compared to what he's doing now. So that's my favorite part of it.
That's even like pre-Lost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like early 2000s, isn't it?
Jennifer Garner.
Dang.
Sydney Bristow.
Wow.
Pre-Electra Jennifer Garner.
Nice. Adam, what have you been watching?
Oh, well, I guess most notably, I finally watched Ex Machina, and I wanted to shoot myself in the face for not watching that movie.
That movie's so
when
good.
it came out. That movie was insanely good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I watched a pretty good Netflix original series called Last Chance U, a college football documentary series, which was pretty good actually. Just to kind of get more of a real life type of vibe. It's kind of nice as kind of a break from some of the other more like fantasy or sci-fi stuff. So it's kind of a palate cleanser for me. But other than that, just bought a Batman Dark Knight Blu-ray trilogy special edition and checked out special features on that. That was really nice. And so I'm kind of, and then I picked up, I'm actually playing Arkham Knight, picking that back up as well. So I'm kind of in a Batman, kind of having to satisfy my Batman fix at the moment. I think it's time with Justice League and some exciting things coming about. So that's what I've been watching.
Nice. So in the world of summer blockbusters, blockbusters have been a little lackluster this summer. I'm going to name off several and kind of give you my thoughts and see what you guys think about this summer's blockbuster. But so far, some of the big ones that have come out this summer: X-Men Apocalypse, which came out in May; Warcraft; Independence Day Resurgence; Steven Spielberg's The BFG; Ghostbusters; Tarzan; and Star Trek. I have had the the privilege of seeing all of these. And yeah, I mean, it's really been kind of a crappy summer as far as like the quality of movies. I mean, I think the BFG was a really good like children's movie. However, I think it kind of came out in the wrong time of year. I kind of see that more so as like a Thanksgiving or like
a holiday movie.
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely had that like holiday fantasy tone.
Do you think,
Yeah.
like of all of those, can you like say in general like what's wrong? Like why? I mean, I know that they're very different movies, but like if you're just looking at this summer by itself, like what do you think's going wrong?
I just think it's the quality. Like I really enjoyed Star Trek, but I think it could have been better, you know. Tarzan, I just think I don't necessarily agree with like I don't know, just the way they approached that movie. It just wasn't as,
You said it was like dark and
it had a
stuff.
very like it had a dark tone, and the story picks up like 8 years after Tarzan has left the jungle, and I would have preferred like an origin story of that. The Ghostbusters reboot or remake was I hated it, not because it's women or anything like that. I just thought it was just a shitty like comedy movie that tried to be something, you know.
I mean, if you think about like this summer's movies, like there's a lot of big names. Like there's X-Men, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Tarzan is huge, Independence Day. Like there's got to be something wrong when nobody's really like super excited about all. I think people are going to the movies, but they're just not really hitting the bar. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Is it the directing or the writing that's falling short on some of these?
I mean, it's probably a little bit of both. You know, Hollywood may have be getting too laxed in making the movies.
And I mean, is there, like typically with the summer we'll have like a Christopher Nolan or a Ridley Scott or a Ron Howard, or I mean, what was BFG? Was that Spielberg?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or is that just produced by Spielberg, or is that directed by Spielberg?
It was directed by Spielberg.
Directed.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, and I didn't see that, so I can't speak on that. But, I mean, for me, that's why I'm not excited about any of these. That's why I chose consciously not to go see half of them. A couple of them, like Ghostbusters, I would have signed a petition that it not be made.
There probably was a petition for it to not be made, but I mean, those don't really do anything.
Well, like those, I only
signed it.
Like, of those, I only saw the BFG, and I really liked that one. I looked up different like Rotten Tomato scores for some of these, and so like Tarzan was 35%, Independence Day Resurgence was 32%.
Should have been lower.
They gave Ghostbusters 73%, and something like the BFG 74%.
Right.
So I was just like searching for any sort of like generalizations we could make, but like I think it's just the writing.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I think you're right in saying that like they may be too lax, where it's just like, oh, we could just remake this and it's gonna be cool. It's like, no, it's not gonna be cool. Like people, I don't know. I think they're able to identify quality. Like it's a smarter audience.
Yeah, and I mean, I think at some point when you bring back so many so fast and so much, like bringing back so many names, as well as like doing things with stuff that we're really familiar with but haven't seen before, like bringing a Warcraft movie, like it's not a sequel or a remake, but it's still something it's
a known property.
Definitely not a brand new idea. So, when you look at all of them, we've got books, we've got remakes, we've got sequels. I'm looking at all of them, all the major releases, and you have like the fifth Bourne movie. You've got God knows what Star Trek movie. Not that there's anything wrong with Star Trek.
Yeah, it's definitely a summer of like sequels or like remakes.
It's just no new ideas. It's all sequels and remakes and
yep.
So even Neighbors 2,
Yeah.
I didn't go see Neighbors 2.
No.
I don't need to see Zac Efron with his shirt off.
Right.
He's a good-looking dude and everything. I'm not going to deny that, but it's not for me.
Right, Garrett, go ahead.
Well, I read something that they announced they're going to remake Jumanji.
Yeah, with The Rock and Kevin Hart, I hear.
Well, when I first heard that, I was just like, I was probably like 7 when that first came out, and I'm like, why does that need to be fucking remade already? Like,
yeah, I know,
like
man.
that's so soon.
I just heard of another one today. Splash is being remade with Channing Tatum.
Why?
Oh, geez.
And Channing Tatum is the merman.
No, please no.
I'm serious. Breaking news on the Cinebuds podcast.
I was already pissed off about Kevin Hart being in Jumanji, and then you're going to drop that bomb on me?
Sorry.
Oh, my God.
But I mean, why does Hollywood see any reason to like remake Splash?
I cannot tell you.
Dude, who knows?
I think Ron Howard directed that one, didn't he?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know.
But anyways, moving on. All right,
please.
So Comic-Con was, a week and a half ago? And several trailers were released. A few of my favorite were Kong Skull Island, Wonder Woman, and the teaser or special footage that was released of the Justice League. I thought all of these, mainly Kong Skull Island and Wonder Woman, were phenomenal. Justice League was good. It was more so just to give us a little bit of context and tone of the movie coming out in November. I think it comes out November 2017. So a little over a year away. But was there any trailer or any of these trailers that kind of spoke to you guys or that you really enjoyed?
I love the Wonder Woman trailer.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was so surprised. Like I was just sitting at work and like saw it come across on Facebook. I think clicked in, not expecting much, and I watch it. Just looks gritty, looks epic.
Yeah,
looks like a pretty sweet story because like I'm pretty unfamiliar with Wonder Woman.
She is really killing it on the fight scenes. Like, and I don't know if it's just that she is just, had good training preparing for the film, or if she's just very a good athlete kind of, or if it's just the way that they shot the fight scenes. But they come off like looking amazing, and
Definitely.
that theme, every time they play that score, that Wonder Woman theme, I think back to like when she came on the scene in Batman v Superman, and that was one of the pretty much the epic moment of that movie. So it kind of takes you back every time I hear it. I just get jacked. I'm so ready to see that one.
Yeah, I really like the World War One flavor that they're bringing into this movie. A lot of people though are comparing it to Captain America: The First Avenger, that first Captain America movie. How that was set in like World War II.
Gotcha.
It's somewhat similar, but
yeah, and I think it'll be fine. Like, as long as they don't have anybody's like skinny, shrunken bodies with computerized like faces superimposed on the bodies, then I think they should be good.
Right. It feels a lot more. It felt. I mean, through the trailer, it felt a lot more real, of like a war movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like Hollywood hasn't really gone there yet with Wonder Woman. I think they had a series back in the day, television series or something like that, maybe some movies. But I think for our generation, we haven't really gotten a lot of Wonder Woman. They've done up Spider-Man and Batman, Superman. We've seen it all 1,000 times. They've brought it back over and over, but it's kind of nice that we'll get Wonder Woman, and at least the first time for us in the last maybe 15 to 20 years, we're going to get a good version.
Right. Garrett, any final thoughts on the Wonder Woman trailer?
No, I was going to see, did you guys watch the King Arthur Legend of the Sword trailer?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
What did you guys think?
I thought it was sick.
I mean, I don't know how I feel just yet.
I don't know.
Either.
I don't know if I guess I haven't watched Anarchy, Sons of Anarchy at all.
Charlie Hunnam.
That dude, I think like it seems like people like him. He shows up in Hollywood.
He was in
a decent amount. Pacific Rim.
Right.
So I don't know. I thought like the way they shot it, like him pulling the sword out, that seemed pretty epic. But I don't know. I'd have to see a little bit more.
Yeah, like I don't know quite how I feel about Guy Ritchie directing it. Like, but I also had that same fear with Sherlock series, and I thought he did really well with that. So I'd be interested to check it out. Like, it was just, I don't know, it just seemed like an interesting tone where I think it starts off like camera right in the face of different people as they're like escaping, and just like almost the same exact shot that you saw in like Rock and Rolla, I think. But like,
oh yeah,
I don't know. That one piqued my interest. Another one that piqued my interest was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Yeah. They released is it the second or third trailer? Second, I think. But yeah, I mean, I'm getting pretty excited for that movie.
Yeah, I don't know that much about it other than that one trailer, but I was just like, that seems cool. Like Eddie Redmayne and I don't remember the other guy's name. Well, Colin Farrell's in it too.
Are you talking about the chubbier guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in
Balls of Fury.
Yes, Balls of Fury. Yeah, I like that guy. He's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know how much that's gonna tie into, because this one's taking place in New York. I think Eddie Redmayne's character gets like booted out of Hogwarts or something along those lines, and he goes to New York City, and then maybe the Ministry of Magic is going after him. I don't know, but yeah, I'm really excited for that movie.
Yeah, it looked like a fun time.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems more appealing to adults than say like Harry Potter, because Harry Potter was rooted in like teenage characters, where these ones seem to be all adults. But
is there any information like out as far as how many they're gonna make. I mean, these are books, so like, right, correct. So, how many are there? How many can we expect?
I have no clue.
Any idea?
Garrett's researching. I mean, I don't remember when this book came out. If we had Mr. Alex Talmadge,
he would know.
He would know.
Yes.
But I haven't heard that this is going to be a trilogy or anything like that. I think it's just the one
standalone
book, isn't it?
Yeah.
No way.
I think it's just the one.
Okay.
And they're kind of like touting it as a prequel.
Yeah, I think this movie's taking place in like the 20s or 30s in New York City. So it should be pretty cool.
Yeah.
What about Kong Skull Island? What do you guys think about that trailer? Or even Godzilla versus King Kong, now that you've seen the Kong Skull Island trailer. Are you guys excited for this?
Not particularly.
No?
Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm the same.
Again, I'm intrigued only because of the actors that are in it.
Yeah. It has a really good cast.
Yeah, and I'm just
very good.
I want to put some faith in them and just be like, well, they would choose a project that was like at least mediocre, you know, like rather than just toss their name in the hat because it's Kong. Like, I think John Goodman can be selective enough that he's just like,
right.
Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah, I kind of have a I don't know. I kind of have this thing about having Sam Jackson in a movie, like a disaster type of movie. Like I saw the trailer and I saw him and I was like, oh shit, I hope it's not like a Snakes on a Plane kind of vibe when he comes on the scene.
I totally forgot about that movie.
And really, like, you got to expect a lot of green screen with King Kong. Like, especially you mentioned they're going to make him a little bit bigger in this version as opposed to the previous one, right?
Yeah, he'll probably be like 100 feet tall.
So, I mean, I like the cast. I think John Goodman always brings it, you know, and Hiddleston's solid, and
Brie Larson.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be good. Yep. So I mean, not that I don't have confidence and love Sam Jackson. I mean, he's on, you know, in the top 10 of my list probably. You know, Pulp Fiction's one of my faves of all time, but. I don't know, that he was kind of the one in the trailer that I was like, that's kind of iffy. But,
yeah. Well, he's been doing a really good job playing those types of like slimy, like creepy characters, like in 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
His character was like that, and he was phenomenal. He was probably like my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah. He always brings it in the Tarantino movies too. Like Django or
John Goodman?
No. Jackson.
Oh,
Jackson.
sorry.
John Goodman.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. All right, let's move on. We're going to be talking about which version of the Joker is our favorite. Garrett, go first, please. I'm interested to see what you have to say.
You know what I'm going to say.
I know. I know.
I'm going with Heath. And my reasoning is just that, I don't know, I think that with the other Jokers, there might be a little bit too much playfulness for me, too much like campiness.
Yes, it's silly.
Yeah, and it kind of just, like, I get it, and I respect it, but it kind of throws me out of it too. And so like with Heath's performance, it's just like the right amount of creepy, where like there are some playful moments, but like they're so small compared to like Jack dancing around or whatever, you know.
Right. It almost seems that like he could be a real person.
Yeah, he feels like, I don't know, like he's been pretty hurt somewhere in his life, right. And like this is the manifestation of it. So
let me ask you this question though. Like, I'll get into my favorite in a few, but given it'd be hard to face a cartoon version of the Joker in real life, but if you had to, like, if you saw in real life, live action, one of the live action Jokers, you know, say they showed up at your front door, which one would freak you out the most?
Oh,
I mean, for me, I'm kind of leaning towards like Cesar Romero. He's
Yeah,
Dude,
he's
that
pretty
guy is
wacky.
freaking weird, man. He's just got those like big cheekbones, had like massive smile, big buggy eyes. He's like, I mean,
Yeah, I had to look him up earlier, and it was
I would
creepy.
never put him at the top of my list by any means, but that would. I mean, I think like given the time period that he was working with, he's a pretty zany version,
Right.
but production wise, that was not the best.
Right.
I would say for me, I would go with Heath Ledger just because of like what he gave to the role and the commitment that he made to the role. Like I don't really think anybody can dispute like how well that was done and how original he did it.
Yeah.
But
Now I got a question for you guys. I want Garrett, you can answer first. Now, what was your reaction when Heath Ledger was cast as the Joker? Now he was running off of 10 Things, 10 Things I Hate About You and
Monsters Ball, probably, right?
And he
Monsters
was-
Ball, and
The
then
Patriot.
Patriot, Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, I probably was questionable of it, where I was just like, why? Like, I
Right.
it didn't seem like a good fit because, like, up to that point, like, my familiarity with the Joker was Jack. You
Yeah.
know? Like, and
Yep.
so you immediately try to compare, like, well, can Heath be Jack? And, like,
Right.
just like for me this time around with Jared Leto being cast, it's just like, well, can Jared be Heath? And,
Right.
like, it's just unfair.
Yeah, it's like once you hear somebody else is doing it, you instantly have to compare to the previous Joker.
Oh yeah.
The same with like Jared Leto. Once he was cast, everyone just
I thought I heard rumor of like Edward Norton
really
being like a potential option, but I can't remember. I thought maybe I heard some people throwing his name around, but maybe not. I'm not sure.
okay. Well, my pick is I don't know if you want to guess.
Mark Hamill.
Oh, you got it.
I knew
Yes.
you'd do Mark Hamill.
My favorite Joker is Mark Hamill. And not necessarily. I mean, if I'm gonna have to go with one, it's obviously gonna be the animated series, the Batman animated
Series.
Yes, the Batman animated series Joker that was in the 90s. I don't know. For me, like, I love Heath Ledger as the Joker,
Yep.
but you know, after watching the cartoon and playing all the Arkham games, it's just like if I had to pick one character for the rest of time, I would choose Mark Hamill's Joker.
Yeah.
I
I
just-
mean, he kind of has a distinct advantage in that the animation does kind of half the work. Like the animated series Joker, like he's got like the classic, like that perfect Joker look to him.
Yeah,
whereas these other
purple
guys
suit
had
and
kind
bow
of
tie.
like they had to get the facial expression and the makeup had to be just right. So you're kind of depending on the costume department to do a good job and not make them look stupid, But yeah, Mark Hamill, I love he's got kind of a grit to him, but he's got really low lows and he's got really high, like really high laughter, like really high energy laughter, but he can get really dark as well. Good range.
Right. Now think of this. 20 years ago, what would you think of Mark Hamill playing the Joker in live action?
Would he have a lightsaber?
Maybe.
Oh man, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I
don't
think
know.
like it's the same thing with casting Heath Ledger as the Joker. Like you'd never know. Like, but that would have been before I trusted Christopher Nolan. Like when you think of Heath getting casted, The Dark Knight, like what the Batman Begins was great and everything, but The Dark Knight is a staple. It's a benchmark.
Yeah, it
and
stepped it up.
Star Wars is that too. Like you would have typecasted Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, people still do. So that's why he's great for voice acting. A lot of people probably love the animated series, but don't even know that it's Mark Hamill.
Right. Yeah. He definitely kind of went under the radar after Star Wars.
Given what I've seen in interviews and video of Mark Hamill, I bet you he could bring it. And he could do it. I mean, maybe not so much now. Like, he'd have to play an older Joker, but he could have done it.
Right. All right. So moving on, Suicide Squad comes out Friday. You guys excited for this movie?
Hell yeah.
Middle of the road.
Garrett, explain why.
I don't know. I think I just don't want to get my hopes up. Like, I feel like being. I just don't want to be let down, I guess. Like, I think the cast is awesome. I look at, like, even Joel. I mean, I like Joel Kinnaman a lot too, and just like the small roles I've seen him in. Like, really like Jared Leto. I think Will Smith can bring it in a certain role. I mean, he's a really good actor, but
right.
I don't know. Like, I just don't have that much faith in the story, I guess. Like, I just don't know.
Yeah, those.
It says it runs like a little over 2 hours, but how many characters are there? Like, can you successfully get in, like, in the first act, like, explain and then, like, have them.
I do think they're doing a lot of, like, flashback scenes for each character to kind of briefly touch upon, like, their history or how they got into. I think the Suicide Squad are in Belrave Prison. It's not in Gotham. I forget which DC like city it's in. But yeah, they're gonna do a little bit of flashbacks to kind of showcase their history and for like the audience to get to know each character. But a lot of times these like big ensemble movies do have a hard time, telling a well-flowing story because they have to juggle so much. It's almost they have to compromise the story to, show each character on screen.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I hope that I'm sure they have, but I'm kind of with Garrett. Like, I'm kind of like, I'm preparing myself subconsciously for it to suck just in case, because I'm super don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see the movie, but Jared Leto has like the weight of the world on him, whether he feels it or not. Like, he really needs to bring it with this one because of the bar that's been set before him. And yes, he's a new Joker and he's allowed to do it the way he wants to, but everybody is going to be comparing him to Chris Nolan's Dark Knight series. Definitely. And, I think the other characters have to bring it too, to share some of the load. So
yeah, share the load. Garrett, do you think that's part of the reason why you're kind of worried or like skeptical a little bit? Is just this, you just are praying for the love of God that Jared Leto's interpretation is good? Or is it more so just like this huge ensemble cast and just the tone? Like, it's a very like kind of like jokey, playful.
Yeah, like I would say it's more of like the ensemble and the tone, but I remember feeling, kind of like mixed about Jared Leto being cast, because I really like Jared Leto. I know he can bring it, but like, again, it's like the Joker. And I talked about, like, I mean, Heath Ledger, like how much I really love that role. And so I've kind of accepted, though, what it is for now, like, until I see it. And even looking at Jared Leto, like, screenshots and stuff, like, of him as the Joker, like, it's creepy as hell.
Right,
like,
for sure.
I feel like it's just going to be a totally different presence. And, like, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm excited to see that whenever I do watch the movie. But I think it's the other part. It's the ensemble and the tone that, like, I mean, like that trailer with the Queen song.
Yeah.
It's effective. Like, it's entertaining. It's great marketing. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I don't know if that's my kind of movie.
Right.
What do you guys think about his like his wardrobe. Like,
oh man, I love
design.
the purple like gator jacket.
Do you like his grill? You like the grill in his mouth?
Well, not necessarily, but if you think about it as if Batman has bashed his teeth in, that he's needed that to like reconstruct his teeth.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been punched in the freaking mouth so much that he needs that.
Okay.
Ben Affleck.
I've never really thought about it like
that
dude.
Before,
but that's pretty cool.
I mean,
if that's what it is, not that he's trying to be gangster or something like that.
Right, yeah. But I think he's going to be a lot more of like a crime boss, like Scarface like.
Yeah.
But still on the note of Suicide Squad, the premiere was last night. People are saying this movie, and it has been getting mixed early reviews.
I thought I saw Richard Roper.
You kind of expect it.
Like there's some people online dogging the movie.
Sure.
I'm trying to avoid reading anything, but I guess does any of this kind of like put you guys off to seeing it, or do you think you'll just see it regardless because you are fans of the Joker and a lot of these other DC characters?
I think I would see anything that was, related to Batman, aside from the television series Gotham, which I will not watch.
All right, Garrett.
It doesn't really deter me because I didn't really plan on seeing it in theaters to begin with. So like I'm still intrigued enough to read through some of the reviews and then still check it out afterward. Like the one that I saw today, just come across like Facebook and Twitter, was Richard Roper talking about how like it's very mixed review. I didn't read it all, and I won't read it because I know you're trying to avoid it. But
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to retro. God, I butchered that.
That was perfect.
Retro Rewind, formerly called Nostalgia's Corner. This is where we talk about some of our favorite movies from our childhood or that have come out in the years past. Garrett, what's your pick for Retro Rewind?
I chose a summer blockbuster from 1999, The Mummy.
Ooh, Brendan Fraser.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought Brendan Fraser was a badass at that time.
So did I. That was almost like a Indiana Jones-esque movie.
Yeah, man.
Noted.
He's got like an all-American right hook. He's got some jokes.
Yep.
Still scared of those little beetle things crawling around on the ground.
God. Yeah. Nightmares now. Well, I mean, what was it about this movie that made you choose it?
Honestly, I think it was mostly him. Like, I really dug his character. I really dug him for a while. Like, I don't remember what threw me out of the Brendan Fraser train, like, in the early 2000s or whatever it was. But, like, I really like this movie. And, like, I think if I were to watch it now, I would probably think that, like, the story sucked. Or, like I know they're remaking it. But, like, I would look at the special effects and just be like, no, it's not really hitting now. But, like, back then, I was totally in it. I was like,
yeah, me too.
This movie's sick.
Yeah, Egypt is badass, man. I mean, like, you look at, like, the Clash of the Titans movies, things that are about, like, those mythological times, like Rome and things like that. Like, you can watch those, but then every time I come back to something that has Egypt in it, I think it takes it to another level. I put Egypt at the top of my, like, mythology, all the different gods and... Oh man, those are good. I'm surprised that like, you didn't take The Mummy 2 with Dwayne Johnson in there with his computer animated face.
Yeah, the Scorpion thing.
That alone was worth the pick.
No, I think the first one. You made the right call. I'm just
Thank
kidding.
you.
Yeah, that movie was always on like FX.
Yeah. Got a lot of,
I watched it
for sure.
so many times, like on TV.
got a lot of airtime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a classic, like, late 90s action movie. I really enjoyed The Mummy. That was a good pick.
And it had good comic relief, too. Like, you have the brother.
For sure.
The brother's really funny, and then the other guy, like, Brendan Fraser's, like, what's the guy's name? Eddie or something? Like, or what's the...
I think Eddie might be the
little
brother.
skinny guy.
Oh, yeah.
There's
I know
one
who
guy,
you're
like
talking about.
the little Egyptian guy or whatever that he kind of turns against him or whatever.
He's got like a
He
crustache.
I think he got eaten by those beetles at some point, maybe.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That crusty crustache.
All right, Adam, what's your pick for Retro Rewind?
Retro Rewind. Yes. My pick is one of my favorite movies ever, and it's probably easily my favorite sports movie of all time. I chose Rocky IV.
Wow.
Nice.
Yes. And Rocky IV, it's a movie that you can come back to watch. I could watch this movie like twice a year probably. And it just has like this like pounding 80s synth soundtrack. Don't even need to mention how good the cast is. Like, people reference this movie maybe on a daily basis sometimes. If they're talking about Ivan Drago, like somebody who's just a total beast.
I will break you.
Right.
But there's a few things, like, I read about this movie a little bit, and it was like, did you know that Carl Weathers almost quit the movie because Dolph Lundgren threw him like 3 feet into the ropes or into the corner or whatever?
Really?
And Dolph Lundgren punched Sylvester Stallone in the chest, and his heart hit his breastbone, and he went into the ICU for 8 days.
Jesus.
Whoa, 8 days?
8 days.
Wow. I'm glad you brought these facts, man. This is
I have
great.
I have another one. So
Another fact.
Another fact. So
Lay it on.
Rotten Tomatoes gives this movie a 38%.
Solid.
And it is the third highest grossing sports movie of all time. It has grossed the most money of any of the Rocky movies domestically, and it held the highest grossing sports movie for 15 years. So not until The Waterboy came out was it knocked off.
Really?
Yes.
Those are good facts.
But if you include like inflation, Rocky 1 and Rocky 3 are the only two that have grossed more.
Okay.
So Rocky clearly is like an insanely dominant movie franchise, which is probably why they've come out with they've come out with 3, as far as I'm concerned, questionable releases since Rocky 4. Whether or not they needed to be done, that's up for debate, I suppose.
I feel like
I didn't watch Creed yet, but you did.
It's really good.
I feel like what sells Rocky
check it out.
what sells Rocky 4 is Stallone's workout routine in the mountains.
Yeah, the montage.
The montage.
The montage is great in that one.
That montage is crucial to Rocky 4. Like it's like you cannot watch that and not feel like a million smackaroos.
If you're having trouble getting your ass in gear and getting to the gym and working out, like if you're one of those people that can't get motivated, go sit in a chair and get on YouTube and type in Rocky 4 montage, training montage, and then jam that. And you will be like, your adrenaline will you'd be bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
You're either going to want to go work out or you're going to want to go sit on the couch and watch Rocky 4.
That's a win-win.
Yeah.
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 Matt, what's yours?
How
are you going to follow that?
I know. How can I follow Rocky 4, man? Especially after we just ended with talking about that montage.
Should have ended on Rocky 4.
Oh, sorry.
No, I think you got something.
All right. So my pick is The Never-Ending Story.
Ooh. Classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is a classic fantasy movie from the 80s. I don't even remember the first time I watched it. Did we have it on like VHS or... I don't think we did.
I don't think we had it at all.
No. But
a rental?
Yeah, I must have rented it.
The old
But
Video
it's one
Plus.
of those movies that may have been on some kind of family channel or
That's
I don't
true.
think I don't think it would have run on Disney, but it was around.
Yeah, this is a classic fantasy movie. There are moments where it's almost quite scary too.
Oh yeah, it has darkness,
Yeah.
Especially with the
especially as a child.
with Sebastian in the attic of the school, and certain parts where the wolf is chasing Atreyu, and there's some frightening scenes in The Never-Ending Story.
I think it helps that they open the movie with a kid reading a book, and it kind of like gets a kid in the mindset that they're going to have to kind of use their imagination and just kind of open up to some new ideas. It being like a fantasy, it's really all fantasy fiction, 100%.
Yeah.
So, it can be a lot for a young person, like a child to take in,
Right.
Yep.
Have you watched it as an adult, Matt?
I probably watched it maybe a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed when watching it is just like, did Jim Henson do The Never-Ending Story? I know he did like the Labyrinth, like with the puppets and all of that.
Right.
But just the level of like what they did with like practical effects in those movies.
Yeah.
Like with the stages of like what they were filming, like the environment, they didn't really do a whole lot with. I mean, some of the stuff they used like green screens back in the day, but they did make a lot of props and use a lot of like practical effects. So I was just really blown away with like looking back at this movie, like how good of a world it like creates,
Yeah. Yeah. Good character names, good plot. I mean, I think like the idea of like, what is it? The nothing or the emptiness? Which one is which?
Yeah, it's the nothing.
The nothing is Never-Ending Story 1, and then the emptiness is 2, correct? Is that right? I believe so. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes.
Right.
But I think like it's just kind of an easy thing to grasp. Like it's a threat, it's this shadow that's kind of sweeping across the land, destroying everything in its path, so to speak. And
right.
It's a heroic tale.
Yeah.
Solid choice.
Thank you. All right, so let's move on to our Twitter question brought to us by Spike Getty on Twitter.
Spaghetti.
And he asked, what's the better Nick Cage movie, The Rock or Con Air? I'll let you guys go first.
Ooh, I'll yield to you, Garrett.
Okay. I'm going to go with The Rock. And it's because of Sean Connery. No, that's probably my favorite Michael Bay movie if I had to choose a Michael Bay movie.
I mean, do you think that it's his best?
No. Probably,
No?
I think it's his best action movie.
Probably has the least amount of CG in it.
Yeah. Like I remember loving that movie as a kid. And my dad was really big into it, so I watched that one a lot. Like he liked Con Air too, but that one didn't quite hit home with me. I think it was the southern accent that Nick uses. It just doesn't feel real to me.
Cameron Poe.
Cameron Poe.
Yep. It can take you out of the film a little bit.
Yeah.
Bunny Rabbit.
Gotta be immersed.
Yeah, my pick's The Rock.
Adam, go ahead.
Connery deserves, a tremendous amount of respect, but I chose Con Air. and it was an easy decision. I almost chose instantly. No offense, Garrett, but
It's all good.
When I think about Nick Cage's long flowing mane in that movie, blowing in the wind as he
with his wife beater,
as he gets off the plane and feels the cool breeze of freedom blowing through his hair. I mean, that just gives me goosebumps. No, I'm just kidding. But what does give me goosebumps is how freaking sick all of those criminals are in that movie. You know, if you figure you have
Cyrus
John Malkovich, yep, and you've got
Steve Buscemi.
Yes. Now him with that little girl and her singing they're singing he's got the whole world in his hands.
Yeah,
remember that? I mean, dude, that movie is nuts.
Right.
And isn't like Dave Chappelle in there, like swallowing some gasoline and
no, Dave
gets thrown from the plane.
Yeah, Dave Chappelle gets thrown from the plane and lands on a car, and they write a message on his body.
Yeah, it's like John Cusack and that guy from Star Trek: The Next Generation or whatever. Isn't they riding around?
Yeah.
And that guy from Star Trek, I don't know his name. But the movie's awesome. You know, it opens up. He punches that guy in the nose or whatever and kills him. Like, that was a pretty cool fight scene. And then from there, you know, it's a tale of a guy who, you know, faced adversity unfairly, you know, and just wants to go home to his wife and kid. And, you know, that plane crashing in Vegas is totally epic. I remember our parents were in Vegas when they were shooting that, and they were telling us about how, you know, they could kind of see the production going on. I thought that was pretty cool too. Very nostalgic, if you could say, almost.
Right.
Little hummingbird.
What about you, Matt? You're the tiebreaker, man.
Sorry, Garrett.
It's all right. I'll stand alone.
I feel really bad.
You shouldn't.
I'm going with Con Air.
You betrayed Sean Connery. How dare you?
I know. Sorry. I don't know. I just have so much more fun watching Con Air. I do think. I mean, for me personally, I think as a film, The Rock is probably a better film. But for entertainment value, I enjoy Con Air more. You know, it's just over the top, action-packed popcorn shoving down your face action movie. You know, it's like the quintessential like 90s action movie. Is it, you know, perfect? No, it can be campy and it has some pretty shitty moments of acting, but I don't know. It's just pure entertainment.
Yeah. Con Air, is that Jerry Bruckheimer, I assume? Is that correct?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I know The Rock is.
I think that Con Air has more star power. You know, if you look at the cast and everything, you've got, you know, Con Air probably has like 8 to 10 big names. The Rock maybe.
Yeah, Michael Biehn.
More like 5 or 6 or something like that. Recognizable.
Right.
To me, anyways, and I'm pretty good with that stuff, but I don't know.
Hey, it's okay, guys. Really, it's all right.
I feel bad, Garrett. I was trying to, you know, I don't know.
Just trying to give Michael Bay some
as much
love.
as you guys talk about Michael Bay, I'm really kind of blown away that you ended up choosing a Michael Bay film.
I know.
Yeah, how can you live with yourself now?
And I think that
it was young Bay. It was very.
That might have been a setup by Spike Getty.
Yeah, it probably was.
He snuck that in there nice and sly like that, and he thought he was going to get us to choose Michael Bay because of Sean Connery. But, you know, Cook Brothers said, no.
Going with the convicts.
All right, so that's going to do it for this episode of the Cinebuds podcast. Adam, thank you for being on the show. It was a lot of fun.
Anytime.
Yep. Garrett, where can people follow you online?
People can find me on Twitter at Garrett Dennert, and they can also go to orsonspublishing.com. It is my book publishing company. Read some stuff. How about you, Matt?
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter at Rex Overdrive, as well on my YouTube channel at Rex Overdrive. I'll be seeing Suicide Squad in the next few days, and I'll have a review for that, so please make sure to check that out. So yeah, that's this episode for the Cinebuds podcast. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Not watching.
With your ears.
Yep.
Watching with your ears. But
Yes.
thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.